It's been claimed the co-founder of the infamous file-sharing website, The Pirate Bay, is reportedly being held in solitary confinement in Denmark. He's reportedly being denied common comforts such as access to books or a phone. RT's Peter Oliver takes up the story.
Supporters and family members of 29-year-old Godfred Svartholm Wag, who was one of the founders of the BitTorrent site Pirate Bay, have been expressing their concern over the conditions he's been held in a Danish prison. Now, in June of this year, he was sentenced to 2 years in jail in Denmark for computer hacking. Now, the charges that were brought against him related to alleged hacking into the computer network of a computer systems company, as well as the Danish driving license database. Now, the head of the Danish police force, the National Police Commissioner of Denmark, said that the operation that was being ran by Mr. Wag had been incredibly sophisticated. Now, he has drawn supporters from across the world, including the likes of Julian Assange, who've actually called for him to be released, or at least have his conditions in which he's been held in improved. But these aren't the first legal problems that he's had. He was part of the group that founded Pirate Bay, which was used to share BitTorrents around the world. Now, that was the subject of a very high-profile case regarding copyright infringements. Campaigners and supporters come out and say, well, the conditions in which he's being kept have, well, certainly overstepped the boundaries for the crime that he's committed.
Well, the mother of the detained computer specialist, Christina Svartholm, says that she has no idea who has decided to keep her son in solitary confinement.
His lawyer, as far as I can get it, she hasn't really found any legal reasons for this, because the court there, when they decided about him being put into this arrest place, they never made a decision about the solitary thing. And the prosecutor, according to what the prosecutor said to media some week ago, she said that I never made such a decision. So it's difficult to find out who made this decision, and since you don't know who made the decision, you can't complain properly about it. They have suspicions towards him now, and he has told me that the suspicions that the Danish police claim that he is innocent, that the claims they make are not public yet, but he has told me about them. And he says that I am innocent. And since he has told me that, I must believe him, definitely.
Let's now discuss this further with the computer specialist lawyer, Louise Høj. Louise, tell us more about the conditions your client is being held in at the moment. Louise, can you hear me there? We just spoke a couple of seconds ago. Yes, tell us about the conditions your client's being held in at the moment.
He is what I would call in isolation, under solitary confinement. The thing is that the judge didn't say that he was to be in solitary confinement, but in reality he is, because of a decision made by the Danish prison service.
Why did they make that decision? Because his mother, as we just heard a few moments ago, was unclear about why the decision was made and who actually made it.
I'm also not sure why they made it. Godfred has been in Denmark for 16 days now, and the restrictions were put upon him from day one. And 2 weeks ago I asked for a formal decision from the prison service so that I could actually tell my client what's going on. And I received what was, 3-4 sentences just stating that, referring to this section in the Danish legislation, he is to be put under special restrictions. And it was a big surprise to me, because normally these restrictions are only used if people are very violent towards other inmates. And I know one case where it's been used against someone who was charged of terrorism. But for me, it was a big surprise that this was that they used these restrictions on Godfred.
And a surprise to you that such a lack of clarity could really be happening in a modern democratic European country.
Yes, I don't understand what's going on, to be honest. And I've been both a prosecutor many years ago, and I've been employed with the Ministry of Justice. And to be honest, these days I'm a bit embarrassed that they treat him this way. I don't understand why.
He's been accused
I
of...
don't understand the legal...
Sure, but he has been accused of a number of hacking attacks, hasn't he? Do you know any more about that? Can you tell us about those allegations?
I can't tell you much because at the moment, you know, I'm not able to talk about the investigation. But what I can tell you is that he was put in solitary confinement for 1 month in Sweden due to the Danish investigation. That was in June this year. And then after 1 month, the Swedish prosecutor took him out of these restrictions. And now, after 5 months, he is now put back under these restrictions, which I don't understand why, because I have been able to talk to him about the investigations, and while he was able to take visits without restrictions in Sweden. So he's been able to talk to people about the Danish investigation for months now. And now he's in Denmark, and I guess it's because I can't find any reason, but I think it's because the case is just so extremely embarrassing for the Danish state that apparently they have to do everything in their power just to punish him in advance.
Well, you and he will obviously be appearing in court at some stage. Do you think he will be held accountable for his alleged crimes? What do you think his fate could be?
No, at the moment, no, I don't expect so, because if you look at the case which was in the higher court in Sweden, he was not convicted of hacking Nordea, the big bank, Scandinavian bank. And I think the material is somewhat the same in the Danish case. So I'm expecting him not to be convicted of anything in Denmark.
And how long do you expect him to stay in solitary confinement then?
Yeah, that's the thing. If it was, you know, a decision or a warrant that was made by a judge, I was able to tell him, you know, for 2 weeks, and then we can go and see the judge. But now, because it's a decision made by the prison service, I'm not able to tell him that if there is. I can't give him any deadline.
Louise, thank you very much.
I can make a complaint. Yeah, you're
sure.
welcome.
OK, well, thanks very much indeed. Louise Høje, the lawyer of the Pirate Bay's co-founder, live there from Copenhagen. Great to talk to you. We really appreciate your time and coming here on RT. Thank you.
You're welcome.